Zen Af Podcast. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the bullshit again. Well, you can go find us at zenafpod.com and write us a fucking email at zenafpod@gmail.com. Hey, Wayne. I'm trying out the Flip 4.
Oh, the new phone.
Yeah, I'm just trying it out. I'm going to see it. I got 30 days with it, and I got to tell you, I fucking dig it. It's just fun. It's kind of fun, and it folds. Technology, man.
I keep seeing commercials about that phone, and every time I've seen a commercial, first of all, do you know when you buy something new that you've never, like a new car, you're like, oh, I'd never see it, but then as soon as you sign the dotted line, you start seeing them everywhere you go.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I bought a Jeep Gladiator. They're everywhere now.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're hard to differentiate between a Jeep Gladiator and a Honda Ridgeline. They're pretty much the same.
I will fucking gut you. Like that's gut. Like I'll gut you.
But with the phone,
that's fucked up, man.
That's the most dramatic way to end somebody's life, and you go straight for it. You're like, I will take it. Basically, what you said to me is, Wayne, like the Zen way of you saying, I will gut you is, Wayne, I'm going to take a sharp object, a scapula.
No, well, scapula is a part of your body.
Shoulder. That's a shoulder blade. Yeah.
I'm going to take someone else's scapula and cut you.
I wouldn't doubt it. I could see you just like grinding it out on a. I got this off what do they call it? Like, I wish I had the words before I started trying to and I just spent 3 hours at a hospital.
Okay, so I want to know what. Okay, so you got your neck checked out. What's going on?
Hang on. I've seen your phone everywhere on the internet now. Everybody's talking about it, and every time I see it, I'm like, I would break that in the first 4 hours I own it.
Okay, I'm glad you just said that. I thought the same thing, but I have to say this right now. I did not expect this to feel as solid as it is. Like, it feels like a solid piece of machinery, I guess.
Technology.
The hinge is like solid. I don't know, man. You know, I got 30 days, and I'm just going to see what happens. That's all. I am enjoying it, though. It reminds me of, like, you know, the old days with the flip phone, except for now when you open it up, you have a full-on screen like a normal smartphone. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
The thing that gets me, though, and maybe this is why you're so fragile with it, is didn't it take you like 27 hours to set that thing up?
I don't want to talk about that, Wayne, because it was glasses on, glasses off the entire time. So when I have my glasses on, I can't see up close. So I have to take them off every time I need to look. It's just a fucking, you know, hey, hashtag almost 50. Yeah, you can. I see what you're doing, Wayne. I see what you're doing, Wayne.
Let me just find this post for you. I can only see from the right corner of my, as I'm pointing to the left eye in the left corner of it, but that's so the doctor.
Yes. Tell me what happened.
I went to the doctor. So I go into the doctor and they hand me this clipboard to fill out paperwork, which I get. First of all, let me tell you, the hospital where I live is pretty great. Like, it's a nice looking hospital. You know, they've got a Starbucks coffee place in there, and it's a pretty nice hospital. Everybody in there looks kind of sad or sick, but like the building itself, super nice place.
I mean, it looks nice, but does it smell like diarrhea and vomit or no?
Clean. No, it's very clean.
Okay.
Very clean, very sanitary.
As hospitals should be.
Right? So I go into the hospital. We go down to the basement or the second level. Yeah, it wasn't quite the basement, but I feel like we were just like morgue adjacent. Like it was one of those hallways where if you went down any further.
The basement of a hospital, like, are we in the right place?
Something ain't lining up here. Why am I in a blue panel van behind and down the street from the hospital getting treatment? So we go to the hospital. We're met by this one, and all the COVID stuff is still around. So they've got like the thick plexiglass with the talking grate just set up in between the desk and you.
Sounds like my bathroom.
Yeah, it should be your bathroom because I have walked by your bathroom post poop and it is absolutely, it's amazing, but also how can one human smell like that?
Whoa!
Also,
Whoa!
8 feet 37 inches tall. Back to the story.
Okay, I'm ornery. I'm anxious. I just okay. Go.
So we fill out the paperwork. Kelly filled out most of it because it was really just putting my complaints down on paper. And then a guy comes in and takes me in a room, lies me down, just starts doing shit. And I'm like, do you want to maybe fill me in a bit? Do you want to let me know what's happening?
Wow.
And he's putting like these sensors, and I've got like all these pen marks where they were like measuring. So they were testing the conductivity of my nerves. So the situation is that I have this nerve compression due to the narrowing of my spinal column due to years and years of abuse to my body through the military or through being a firefighter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I've had pins and needles in my hands, but they needed to make sure that the thing going on in my neck was what was causing what was going on in my hands.
Gotcha.
So they did a bunch of stuff. They put like this acupuncture needle in with that was hooked up to a speaker, and they could like listen to how my muscles were reacting. It was really, really like that was legit science. Like the shit that we say, not so much science.
I don't know, but okay, fine.
And what I just said, science. But they did all this stuff, and then he said, I think you have carpal tunnel in your hands, and now you need to go see a neurosurgeon for your neck. But I don't know if they're going to operate on you, and we can't give you any cortisone in your neck because we don't do that here, and it has to be done under x-ray because it's into your neck. So now I've got to be referred to a pain clinic. So nothing happened to me.
See,
just another doctor.
Oh my God. It's just, it's like, can you just go to a doctor and get shit fixed? Like, is it so fucking hard for these fucking doctors who went to school for like, I don't know, like 38 years just to get a degree? Like, why can't you just fucking fix it? Why do I gotta go here, gotta go there, then I gotta go here, and then I gotta go there? It's like fucking, it's like waiting in line at a fucking, like Disneyland. It's like, can we just fucking fix it?
Or at least don't do it in the basement. Like, at least give me a view when you're telling me that it's going to be another, couple months until we get any answers. Like, not in the base. But the good news is the silver lining. Are you ready for this?
I hope so.
I got to see like an inmate in an orange jumpsuit, all shackled up, getting walked down the hallway at the hospital. And that made my day, because no matter how much pain I'm in, he's in prison.
Well, I'll tell you what, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you are in prison listening to this podcast, I want to tell you this. You're probably not innocent, but if you are, we feel for you.
And also, if you're listening to this podcast while in prison, we want to know that in order to hear our voices, you had to put that phone up your bum. And that is science.
That is science. And we also want to know, if you're in prison listening to this podcast and you had to borrow, quote unquote, someone's cell phone to listen to it, how many times did you slop on the old schnockle weasel?
And to add to that, if you are in prison, do you, and maybe maybe you have been forced to do things in the shower that you weren't so proud of. Did you listen to us after the shower or before the shower? Write us a review. Let us know the institution you're in.
Yes, and we will give you a shout out. Not live, because we don't do live. That's for pussies. We record.
Imagine like opening up the phone lines, if that was still a thing, and like, you have a collect call from Rikers Island. He's like, hey, it's James.
I'm listening to your podcast right now. It's fucked up, man. Look, I only sucked like 3 schnitzel veins, but you guys are fucking mean, man. Like, you shouldn't talk about that.
You were so worth the shower incident.
Look, I want to talk about something serious right now. So I'm at a point in my life where I'm literally like, just like, So, and I don't know if anyone understands that. That's a psychological term that I have heard. So I'm at this place where I'm just kind of like, okay, I have this, I have this, I have that, and I have that. And I'm speaking about content, right? We're in a content filled world. We all have to have fucking content out there. If you don't exist. So some say. So all these things going on, and I, making promos for this, and then doing this thing, and then that, and I'm auditioning and all this stuff, and I literally have no clue how any of this turns out. I do know how it ends, though. I die, because we all do. But I'm talking about before that happens.
So we talked about it the last episode that we find ourselves in a lot of the same place, around the mental health stuff when it comes to content creation or the podcast or whatever. I think because we have the same goals, but I recently let it go. And I'm not even saying that to be facetious. I'm not saying that to I'm not giving advice, but I found that I got to the point where, and I've been here 3 or 4 times, and we have talked about it, I believe, every time, where you get into these YouTube rabbit holes of hashtag strategies, and you look at other ways to help get your content seen and get it out there. But the more and more, and I think this is the big difference when you're creating at the stage we're at in our lives, compared to these young people that are trying to create content to make a living from creating content. When you create good quality content, and this is what, Kelly said to me the other night too, when you create good content, you just have to keep creating good content. If you start creating, and then, like with me, I'm adding all these mics and I'm adding lights and I'm adding all of these things to try to make my content better.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but at the same time, like you want to give your community fun things to watch or listen to, but that's not why they fell in love with you. They fell in love with you because you just create content and you don't give a shit about the hashtag strategies. And I'll say one more thing. Last night before I went to bed, like I crawled in and I did this strategically. I wrote this email strategically. I wrote it because I've been lying awake at night thinking about it for the last week. So I lied down in bed last night and I wrote an email to the company that I was doing the brand deal with, Man-Made, which is the underwear company. And I said, I'm still growing and I'm not ready to grow with a brand yet. I'm not ready to reach out to brands and to say, hey, let me create content for you where, there's money, there's a financial exchange or an income from it. I'm not ready for that because we're still growing. We're so young in this world, in the social media world, not the entertainment world. You've been in the entertainment world, and that's a completely different beast your entire adult life.
It's completely different. Yeah.
This is on you, and it's all about you. So I'm creating less. I'm only creating when I'm creative, and I'm just gonna see what happens, man. And I think that's all you can do.
With you, 1,000 billion%. And I'm going to add to this because I agree with you 1,000%. You got to do what makes you happy, what you enjoy doing. You put it out there, and it's almost like spaghetti. Like when you make spaghetti, how do you know if it's fucking done? You take a handful of spaghetti, you chuck it at the fucking wall. Some of it sticks. If it doesn't stick, it's not done yet. So you just said this. I create when I feel creative. That's when I create. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, from the morning, as soon as I open my eyes, my brain starts thinking. And I've been doing this my entire life, and I get a high out of it. So there is a rush. No matter what I'm thinking of doing, be it content or whatever stuff I want to spew out of my mouth for whoever wants to hear it. So every single day, I have at least 4 or 5 moments during the day where I'm like, oh, I want to create this. But it's literally just me wanting to throw my idea at the wall, right? So, and I go through it all the time. And if I stifle it, If I say, nah, don't do it. It's not the right time to do it. You got to wait 2 hours before you put that out there. You got to go through the algorithm of, if I do that, I fucking hate everything. Right. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this conversation, but it's interesting that creative brains can't be controlled. It's almost like if you try to control someone who's really creative, you're literally going to ruin their fucking time on planet Earth. It's like when parents have kids and they look at the kid and they want that kid to be a football player or a fucking doctor or whatever the fuck they want the kid to be. But the kid's like, I love playing the trumpet, or I am so passionate about piano or acting or whatever the fuck it is. And the parents are going, we're not doing that. You're not doing that. You can't do that. You're not going to do that. You're killing the kid, by the way. So anyway, I don't know. I just kind of went off on it.
The reason you said it is because it resonates huge, man. When somebody else tries to control the content that I create garbage.
Exactly.
Because it's you. And we have instant gratification with social media. Like when you're on a TV series, you don't get the numbers. You don't see the numbers. No. And if you do see the numbers, it's because somebody shared the numbers with you, or where you can go for numbers. But that's not what it's about. You created somebody's written content. You performed your art, and you move on. Just like you talked about with auditions, like I get a second audition. You had your second audition, and now you forget that you even had it. And if you hear from them, great. And if you don't, and that's probably the best advice that I have, gotten throughout this journey of becoming somebody who people recognize on the street. And that's really all it is. But for me, with social media, you get to post it, and then I found out that, well, it takes 1 hour for it to get onto the For You page and to look at the numbers within an hour. And I'm watching like 58 minutes, 3,000 views. Are you fucking kidding me? I have 230 some.
I know.
And when you start doing that, you lose the ability to perform your craft. And on top of that, like you talk about so this happened yesterday. I was on the phone with my son. I had a wonderful phone call or a FaceTime with my son. And he's 18 years old, man. And he's back in high school trying to finish up because he wants his diploma. And I get that.
Nice.
Good
for him.
He's like, like really good for him. And I said to him, like, well, what's your plan? He says, I don't know. And you could just see him visibly rattled. Like he just does not know what he wants to do. And he's very much like me. Post-secondary is not an option for him. But something weird happened. I said, it's funny. I said, I think you do know what you want to do, but everybody else, we're all telling you should do that exact same thing. And it doesn't feel like it's your idea anymore. And he looked at me. He's like, exactly. He wants to join the military. He wants to go to the Navy. It has been his idea this entire time. But because other people are trying to put pressure on it, it makes you not want to do it, because now you're not doing things for you. And we're finding out, especially now at this stage in our lives, that unless you're doing it for you, it's not fucking worth it, man. It just isn't worth it anymore,
No. Trials and tribulations, I understand. Like saying, I want to be a fucking helicopter pilot and giving it a shot for a couple of years and going, you know what? I don't want to fly a
crash 3 helicopters.
Yeah, exactly. So I get all that. Like, that's understandable. But yeah, so, it's like, okay, so when I was younger, because I was tall and lanky, everyone told me, you should play basketball. You should play basketball. And you know what? Even if I wanted to play basketball, I wouldn't have played, because everyone told me to play basketball. And by the way, I fucking hate basketball. But you know what no one told me to play? Soccer. So I played soccer for 13 fucking years. No one told me to play soccer. So I did.
Nobody told you to play soccer.
So I fucking played soccer. Okay, so here we are, man. We're sitting here. We're in these awesome studios. Yours is in Canada. Mine's in Los Angeles in the United States.
It's my spare bedroom, Alex. I'm in my spare bedroom.
I am too, Wayne. I was saying this for people who aren't not watching. They're just listening.
But why would we lie to them and tell them that we're in studios? Then they think that we're doing well. We're not doing well.
We are doing well. What are you talking about?
I mean, we're doing well, but we're not doing well.
We're not doing that kind of well.
We need to do weller.
Hey, look, man. Hey, you know what's funny? I have this thing in my head. It's called a brain.